I'm gonna be honest, supercars aren't really my thing. Exotics are so outside of my price range, so far from my grasp that I never really think about them. But there's an entire side of the car community devoted to these exclusive rides, so I'm pretty sure that I'm in the minority. And that got me thinking. Every couple of months, a supercar manufacturer like Ferrari, Bugatti, or McLaren will announce a new limited run variant with a price tag in the hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. But then in that same announcement, they'll also say that the car is already sold out. How? How do you buy a car before it's announced? Is there some sort of shadowy billionaire car club? Well, kinda. I talked to supercar owners and exotic dealers alike to find the truth. A big thank you to Raycon for sponsoring today's episode.
Okay, Nolan, action.
Raycon is disrupting the electronics industry with their everyday E25 earbuds.
Action.
Featuring 6 full hours of playtime and seamless Bluetooth pairing with a compact design for a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. They give you the same audio quality as the other premium brands, but only cost half the price. And Raycon knows everybody's different. That's why they offer them in a range of fun colors and patterns. But don't worry, if you don't like them, Raycon offers a free 45-day return policy. So whether you're taking up a new hobby or just want to make your day-to-day a little bit more comfortable, bring premium audio to everything you do by clicking the link in the description box or by going to buyraycon.com/donut to get 15% off your Raycon purchase today. Did you say action? We're recording? Sorry, I had my earbuds in. Yeah, sorry. We'll go again. This is Misha Mansoor. If you like metal music, you probably know he's a guitar god, and you've probably heard of his band Periphery. He also likes cars.
I have a Lamborghini Huracan Performante, and I don't know if this counts, but I have a Porsche GT3 Touring as well.
The easiest way into supercar ownership and the avenue that's the most similar to the normal car buying experience is going to be the used route.
I like lightly used, preferably certified pre-owned. Yeah, any one of these cars, unless it's like extremely limited and you and I can't get it, is going to lose a substantial amount of value, and the most of it basically when you drive it off the lot. That first year is going to be particularly brutal, and then it does taper off.
You don't have to be looking for a supercar to apply that advice. But what if you're a big-time YouTuber turned, I don't know, amateur boxer and have the cash to buy straight off the lot? Is it that much different than a normal dealership? Depending on the manufacturer, not really. In fact, some brands like McLaren try to make it as easy as possible because, believe it or not, they have some catching up to do.
I've never actually bought a McLaren, but I've come very, very close because I do love their offerings. I do love their cars. They're a very aggressive company. Their business model is super interesting because they've been trying to create this sort of legacy and this pedigree that these other companies like Porsche and Ferrari have had for decades. And they've done it in about a decade. Like, they haven't even been selling these production cars for that long. And they're already being spoken in the same sentence as these other brands. But the way they've done is by being super aggressive. So anybody can buy a McLaren. They are aggressive. They want to make a deal. They're trying to get you in their car. I'd assume that when the terms have all been agreed upon, that everything from that point on is fairly similar.
Even though McLaren's first road car was the super exclusive F1 in 1992, their extended absence in the supercar game in the following years put them at a distinct disadvantage to other manufacturers. Their relaxed sales policy is actually really smart, helping the British company close the gap with their competition. In Europe, McLaren has seen huge growth since 2011 when they came back on the scene with the MP412-C, a jump from 40 cars that debut year to nearly 1,100 in 2019. Their revenue in 2019 was up 18% compared to the previous year as well. When combined with their rising presence in motorsport, McLaren's open door policy is obviously a great idea. But how does the story change when a supercar manufacturer also builds consumer cars that your Uncle Bill would drive? What kind of advantages does a company like Porsche have over their supercar competition?
So one of the big advantages of owning a Porsche over those other brands is that if you're ever taking your car in for service, you can likely get a loaner. You can get like a Macan or a Cayenne, a base car, but still a nice car. And it's little perks like that, and sort of the fact that they are a bit more grounded and normal. Their cars are a lot less exotic, which in a lot of cases, I think makes them a more attractive brand, at least from a practical point of view. Not like I have a press car for a week, but like I have to live with this thing. And I think that their dealerships are really awesome for that reason.
So far, buying a supercar doesn't seem that much different than buying a regular old consumer car. It's just a lot more expensive. But there's one manufacturer that stands out: Ferrari. Before the Performante, Misha owned a Ferrari 488. I asked him to explain what set that experience apart from other cars he's owned.
If you wanted to buy a brand new car from them, they want their clientele to be passionate about Ferrari. So oftentimes they would sort of encourage you with maybe not the car that you want, or with buying some used cars, and they kind of want you to have a relationship with that dealership. Ferrari is just one of those brands, and I think that's why they could play the game the way that they do. And then everyone else has to sort of dance around it.
But I couldn't just take Misha's word for it. I had to research this for myself. Ferrari is unique when it comes to how they do their business. A typical car dealership will try to upsell you a car that you didn't even come to see. How many of you have gone to look at a used sports car and then been shown a new crossover? But according to a few articles I've read, and hearsay in the industry, Ferrari will actually do the opposite. You could be the biggest high roller in the world, but if you've never bought a Ferrari before, they'll only let you buy a used car in their inventory. Like Misha said, Ferrari dealers do this to really get a feel for the client and suss out whether or not they're really about that Ferrari lifestyle. But why go through all that trouble and potentially lose a customer? The answer itself is simple, but opens up a much bigger conversation, and that is demand. Ferraris are truly limited production cars. Ferrari produces about 8,400 cars a year. To put that in perspective, Honda produced just under 386,000 cars last year, making Ferrari's numbers look tiny. But there are huge differences in how Ferrari and Honda build their respective cars. Ferrari tries to build as much of the car by hand as possible, which adds to the brand's aura. Handcrafted will never go out of style. But this way of building things is much slower and caps production in the process, which can cause some customers to wait over a year for their car. Ferrari is not the car maker for those looking for instant gratification. In spite of the limited production, there are still tons of people out there who want a prancing horse of their own and are willing to wait for it. So many, in fact, that it becomes way easier to understand why Ferrari and their dealers can afford to be more discerning when it comes to who gets to buy one. So that begs the question: who gets to buy one? In an interview with Drive.com, Ferrari Chief Marketing Officer Enrico Galleria revealed the process for getting into the company's good graces. Ferrari personnel set guidelines for every limited run model, with presumably more stringent demands for rarer cars like their LaFerrari, for example. Not only do prospective customers need to have an extended history with the brand, including owning multiple Ferraris, but the customer must maintain a relationship with Maranello by attending events like the Cavalcade Road Rallies, where Ferraris meet up in the hundreds and go for a drive. Another way to curry favor with Ferrari is to sign up for their exclusive racing school in Italy, as well as attend high-profile motorsports events like WEC and Formula One races. Basically, you're doing a lot of networking, making sure the people that matter know your name, and I'll tell you right now, there's no way I'm approved to buy any Ferraris. They definitely know I'm in the wrong tax bracket. Getting in Ferrari's good graces goes beyond buying a few cars, and it's its own side hustle, basically. And the crazy thing is, going above and beyond to develop that relationship doesn't even guarantee you a spot on their supposedly titled preferred owners list. Ferrari won't publicly acknowledge the existence of this policy, but people who have tried and failed to buy a prancing horse will tell you it's all too real. I won't name any names out of respect, but plenty of Ferrari heads, huge fans of the brand, have checked all the boxes and still came up short in Ferrari's eyes, missing out on super limited cars like the Enzo, the LaFerrari convertible, and the SF90. It's insane to me that even when it comes to something as expensive as a Ferrari, money can't buy you everything. But I also kind of respect that as well. In a world where high fashion brands have become streetwear with labels begging celebrities and influencers to wear their clothes, companies bending over backwards chasing clout, Ferrari hasn't sold out. If they don't like you, they won't sell to you. And honestly, I think that's pretty sick. All right, say you do have a shit ton of money, don't qualify to buy a Ferrari, but still want something exclusive and fast. Luckily, there are a lot of options. Pretty much every brand we mentioned earlier has their own super exclusive limited run hypercar. Porsche had the 918 Spider, McLaren's got God knows how many limited edition cars, and Lamborghini has some seriously crazy stuff in the oven like the Cayenne. Then there are brands that deal exclusively in hypercars like Koenigsegg and Pagani. The difference between hypercars and regular old supercars is that manufacturers will not build a hypercar to have it sit on a lot and wait for a buyer to walk in. The building and buying process is much different. Every manufacturer has their own process, but the steps are usually the same, as I'll now list. If you want to buy a car like the Pagani Huayra or the Bugatti Chiron, you first approach a dealership near you and tell them you're serious. Now remember, they don't have new cars on the lot. You're gonna have to wait a while. That's the first big difference. Then you're gonna need to give the manufacturer an allocation or security deposit so they know you won't bail out. Allocation just sounds so much fancier than security deposit, doesn't it? Next comes the fun part, speccing the car out exactly how you want it. This can be done remotely, or you can fly out to Italy or wherever your car is being built and tell them yourself. If you purchase a Pagani, you're gonna be sitting down with Horatio Pagani, the guy who founded the company, not service. After you've picked out things like the paint, stitching color, seat material, and other options that make your car one of one, it's time for it to be built. This is the not so fun part. Hypercars can take anywhere between 6 months and 2 years to be assembled because they are being built by hand. Something I think is really cool is that most manufacturers will send you photo updates, which makes it feel a lot more personal. How many of you have given your project to a shop and they've done the same thing? That's awesome. Then finally, after months of waiting, your car arrives and you can finally take it for a spin. Just kidding, you'll probably park it in the garage and bring it out once a year. But hey, it's your car, I won't judge. So what about those hypercars you do see time to time on a showroom floor, maybe in like Beverly Hills or Miami? Well, those are either customer cars that the dealership is looking after or a used hypercar. Like we talked about earlier, the used route is the way to go if you missed out on some super exclusive car like the Enzo or Pagani Zonda, but don't expect a bargain. Pretty much every hypercar holds its value or even gains it. The car doesn't even have to be that expensive for that to happen. Factors like a global pandemic can do strange things to the used sports car market. COVID actually caused the factory that built the C8 Corvette to shut down. So if you had one before quarantine hit, you could sell it for a profit, even if you put 1,000 miles on it. People wanted that car that bad. Demand alone does tricky things to the market, COVID or not.
So a lot of these companies now, if you are to buy a car brand new from them, especially one of these special editions or limited edition cars, they'll sometimes have clauses on how you can sell them and what you can do, if you could sell it at a profit or what happens with that profit. There are a lot of companies that don't really love the whole spec game that's going on, like speculation on the values of these cars, where people start to treat them more like they're stocks and less as like these driving experiences, which is what they were engineered over the course of many years to be. So I understand the frustration.
These cars are super expensive and are capable of truly amazing things. But at the end of the day, they usually don't get a chance to. I don't feel discouraged that I can't afford one of these things because I'm willing to bet money I've had more fun in low car than any hypercar owner who only brings out their cars once a year to stunt on other rich guys. These cars are status symbols for the most part. Really cool status symbols, but objects nonetheless.
What's up, guys? Welcome to my house. I've got some huge news. The Pop-Up Up and Downs t-shirt was a huge success. Not surprised, it's the coolest shirt we've ever designed. We worked really hard and hard work pays off. We liked it so much that we decided to carry it over to a hoodie. Because if you think about it, a hoodie is a Pop-Up Up and Down sweatshirt. I'm really stoked about these. I can't wait to get my hands on one. That's right, it's so new, I don't even have mine yet. So go to donutmedia.com, it's available now. The t-shirt's sold out super fast, and I guarantee the hoodie's gonna go just as fast. Pop-Up Up and Down sweatshirt. donutmedia.com.
A huge thank you for Misha Mansour for taking the time to talk with me. Check out his band Periphery and his businesses Get Good Drums and Horizon Devices if you want to sound like him. Another huge thank you to Amber Blonigan for explaining the buying process for super exclusive cars. You can follow her on Instagram at Amber Blonigan. Her knowledge was a huge help, so thank you very much, Amber, for taking the time to talk with me. Build your car out, have fun with it. Don't worry about these stupid expensive cars that don't get driven anyway. That's my tip for the end of the day. Follow Donut on all social media at Donut Media. Follow me at Nolan J. Sykes. Let me know what your fantasy hypercar is down in the comments. I would like a first-gen Pagani Zonda. I still think that's the craziest looking car that's ever been made. Be kind, take care of each other. See you next time.